best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis.
Ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of On Point. Happy New Year to everybody.
Okay, go ahead.
Gentlemen, welcome. Happy New Year. I see everybody looking nice, great, ready to go. Happy New Year to you, Mr. Eastman.
Happy New Year, brother. It's good to be alive. At least if you're alive, you know you still have a chance to make a difference, to make a change. So many people and brothers and sisters we lost last year. But we who are living, let's make the most of our life.
Great. Mr. Kamara, you're looking great there. Happy New Year to you and welcome to the first edition of 2024.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone.
Great. Mr. Eastman?
Yeah.
We want to welcome all of our customers, are they customers, our viewers, our brothers and sisters, our subscribers to a happy new year and the first edition of On Point. Ladies and gentlemen, today, every time we begin our show, we say it's a special one, but this one is actually special because of the topics of things happening in Liberia and around the world that affects us, Liberians. We'll discuss them. Let's get going with the first thing here. Let me read them to you as we have a plethora. Our plate is full. We have the released budget for the incoming presidential inauguration at $650,000 US to $700,000 US for an inauguration of a president that said he does not want the pomp and pageantry showcase. He wants something little, $650,000 US. We're going to discuss that. Honorable Yeka Koluba had a press conference today. Boy, it was a doozy. He presented to us the British make a dossier of events from within and without the incoming president. And he took everyone to task, presented evidence, and threatened some folks. We discussed that. Mr. Yeka Koluba also said he is saying after the little people in Liberia have fought to make a change in Liberia, he said he is seeing around Joseph Boakai all the desperate people that had nothing, some had nothing to do with the campaign. The little people have fought the battle, they have won the war, and all of a sudden Joseph Boakai is now surrounded by corrupt people, and he called names. We'll discuss that. We also going to do the incoming government. According to Mr. Yeka Koluba, the incoming government will be more corrupt than the outgoing government. He said he wants to say it right now, and he gave some evidence that he thinks it's going to get worse. Now we are going to the third piece here, which is the mantra of the Unity Party, law and order. There is a young lady by the name of Queen Johnson that had terrorized Liberia for the past 6 years. In fact, it's involved into the killing of the civilian. She's been hiding. They have made a warrant for her arrest. She's been hiding for a while, for about 6 or 8 weeks. Finally, she was arrested at an entertainment center in Monrovia. 15 police officers went in and arrested her. When they took her to put her in a car, the commander of the police, that group that went to arrest her, took the woman and vanished. On their way to the police headquarters, nobody knows what happened to the police officer. Nobody knows what happened to the queen. There was
Are you introducing the topic or are you giving a narrative? Which one?
yes. I'm giving you the topic.
Okay.
The Liberian Police Department had a news conference and they addressed that. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the topics we're going to be discussing. It is exclusively hot. I know my brother and friend, Mr. Kamara, is sitting on the seat. You see him moving back and forth. It is hot. And he's on the hot seat. Mr. Eastman, Mr. Talk So and Talk So. Let's look at the first topic here. A few months back, or maybe a year or so, close to a year, there was this topic from the outgoing opposition that said, we are tired suffering. The president of Liberia and the administration were living luxurious life, big budget, and the people were suffering. They are tired suffering. They want to move this government, bring in a government that will be very economical, frugal, and people-centered. Mr. Eastman, what we are seeing here, $650,000. Your take.
Well, we have to admit that we're coming into a period where the funds are going to be limited, and having a ceremonial program is quite necessary to bring in the new administration, but it has to be commensurate with your budget forecast. And having an elaborate celebration, given the kind of background and feedback we were getting from the Unity Party, we would expect a more modest celebration. Now, an amount of $700,000 for some wealthy nations is not much, but for a nation like us that we're strapped for cash, we may want to reduce it. Now, there are some logistical issues that some expenses you will have to go through regardless of no matter how small you have it. So I'm only hoping that those who concocted the budget took in consideration where we are financially and determined that this was the most expedient way to spend this money, because some have argued that some of this money could be used toward hospitals, towards schools. So these are the considerations that we expect from the incoming government. But who proposed this budget? Was it the outgoing, or was it the incoming, or was it jointly determined? So those are the questions I have to ask before I make a determination as this is being too much.
Great. Mr. Kamara,
Yes, sir.
you and the opposition, you have always quoted people like John Magufuli, how he came into government and he cut down waste and did that. In fact, John Magufuli, when he came into power, Tanzania said the budget for inauguration was $900,000. John Magufuli said, no, I will take the $900,000, I will furnish hospitals, clinic, and I'm going to use what I need is only $100,000 for the entire nation. $100,000 out of the $900,000 he used for his inauguration. Mr. Kamara, Liberia is suffering. According to you are tired suffering. The city is dirty. There's no money for the hospital. There's no money for kids. There's no money for pregnant women. Joseph Walker said he was going to be so modest. He was going to have the inauguration on the Capitol ground so as to not spend any money. So where is this $650,000, $700,000 going, sir?
Okay, first and foremost, it is not the incoming team that announces the budget. One. Number two, as a CDC and you, Mr. Gilman, let's compare 600,000 because he put it to 700,000. But let's just take your number, your wrong number of 700,000. Say 700,000. Compare that to your inaugural ceremony. How much did you spend? Nearly 3 million, right? But here's when you talk about the John McAfoley thing, John McAfoley met a country that had things in place. The economy wasn't the best, but there were actual structures in place. This is a situation where they're trying to host this program at the Capitol Hall, Capitol Building. Do you know that the Capitol Building does not even have a flush toilet facility as we speak? Do you know that the Capitol building leaks? Do you know that there's waterway when you're walking, you jump over dirty water to get to some of those senators' offices downstairs or representatives' offices? The Capitol building is going to be hosting entourage of top government officials from other countries. You got to give this Capitol building a facelift. So it's 700,000 too much. Now it took some architectural work to come to this figure. They had to the different venues. So what? No, 1 minute. I'm not saying that they're going to use 600,000 on the Capitol building if that's what you're trying to get at. That's not what I'm saying. Joseph Burger has not even yet spoken on the issue of the 600,000 yet. Now you want to put everything on him as if he signed the budget, he passed the thing and say, this is what we're going to spend. He does not have that authority. So it's only Sunday.
Mr. Kamara, thank you for trying to do this. You are telling me that the building, the office of the legislature, you are telling me that Joseph Walker is going to come in and give the entire legislative body, the structure of facelift within 20 days, and he would do all this. Mr. Kamara, you are, I don't know what to tell you. Mr. Morris, here we are here. These people said that George Weah and the government were extravagant. They were living large while people were suffering. And this modest man is coming in, and he's going to be so modest, they're going to have the inauguration on the Capitol ground after not spend much money. Now we are talking about $700,000 in the budget. And the budget, I think Mr. Kamara doesn't know how the budget was derived. The budget was derived from the incoming administration, what they will need, what the committee would need to sponsor inauguration. And that is what they asked for, and that's what they got. Mr. Morris, this thing, somebody's phone, please. Can we mute while I'm hearing something? Mr. Morris, I am disgusted. I am disappointed. And I want to agree with Mr. Culliver. He's seeing something that is a flashback that this government from the get-go is going to become more corrupt, Mr. Morris.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Gilman. Look, I will agree with Mr. Kamara on this point. And I think perhaps moving forward, we should only hold inauguration at the Capitol building. I think they do a similar thing here in the United States, But I think that would kind of balance out the cost. So you kind of know every year or every election year how much the budget would be for inauguration. But it's like a person, I would use a simile. It's like a person who is getting married, who is a celebrity, and a person who is getting married, who is maybe like a wealthy person. That celebrity will always have more people at their wedding than you, who maybe you have more money than that person. George Weah is a celebrity. He's a global celebrity. The amount of people that wanted to come to his inauguration, the high-profile people that wanted to come to his inauguration, would dwarf that of Joseph Walker. The footballers, the coaches, the international figures that wanted to come to Liberia, the Drogbas, the Kanu, the Kochas, all those people, they're not going to be coming to the Joseph Walker inauguration. Definitely not. So the point here is, George Weah was a special person in terms of his global appeal and his appeal on the African continent. So, but I think going forward, we need to standardize it to host it at the Capitol building every year. But I think the budget is kind of small in my estimation. in all fairness to Boyka and his incoming administration, it's kind of small for inauguration because there's food that's supposed to be provided for. We're talking about an entire nation, all of the people that's coming from the different counties, all of the officials and their families and dignitaries from other countries. Just the food alone. Of course, you have to have entertainment. You have to have, police or people who will be patrolling the streets. You have to have certain, things that you have to put in place to make sure the day goes smoothly. Sometimes cutting corners and trying to be, frugal sometimes can cause chaos. There may be, God forbid, quote unquote, protest from the CDC, and we may have a clash if we don't have enough security people on the street. So I think the budget is kind of small. Maybe they need to beef it up to at least 750,000, an extra 100,000 or so for extra security measures, or at least to decongest the roads and maybe clean up the streets a little more, leading to the processions. But that money is a drop in the bucket. But like Mr. Eastman was saying, I think Joseph Boyka's whole idea of being physical, of getting into physical austerity is a good idea if he wants to be successful, because coming into the government right now, we don't know where he's going to be raising money from. All of those mining deals and concessions are already in place. Maybe he's going to send his henchmen like Kabakoli and his son Jojo to go get more money from Masala Mittel and other places to, to beef up his government in the beginning. But as we know, Liberia is a broke country. It's been a broke country since Omeo left in 2015 or 2016. And since then, we have to do our own heavy lifting. And I don't know if Joseph Boyka will hit the ground running, especially in his first couple of years. But I don't know if we'll get to the Yeka Koluba situation, but I think he said a lot of things. And the most surprising thing, he didn't cost anybody, man. He didn't use any cost where I think he was poignant.
We're coming to that. Mr. Eastman,
Yeah.
this one, I'm not going to let go because I know how the budgets are derived. You cannot say extra security because these security police officers are on payroll. They are working. So you can't say extra security. In fact, they gave a schedule of what's going to happen. They are going to go to the mosque on Friday, going to have a prayer. And then the next day, they're going to have inter-service services at Ephraim Baptist Church, and then go to the Capitol building and do the swearing in, and then have a little entertainment according to them. 700,000, my friend, is no. We are not talking about 7,000. We're talking about almost $1 million.
But you spent almost $3 million.
Don't tell me almost. Give me the figure. I'm giving you figure.
But if you can get Joseph Boyka, Joseph Boyka at 600,000, you can get 700,000.
Mr. Kamara, if you want to argue with me, give me figure. Don't say almost $3 million. That's a lie. Mr. Eastman, this is disheartening. In fact, the Liberian people are beginning to grumble that this man who says he want to cut down expenses, he's a member of the poor people. Now we are having this elaborate.
You're repeating the same question, Mr. Gilman. You're repeating the same question. It's a waste of time.
No, it's not a waste. It's a waste of time because it is hot.
You're repeating the same words you used the first time.
Mr. Kamara, it is a terrible and it's a hot issue because it is your man. When you were sitting here and saying Joria was extravagant, we are talking about 700,000.
No, when you ask Mr. Gilman the same question twice, he's going to give you the same answer twice.
Mr. Kamara, will you please keep quiet over there?
Okay, no problem.
I know what the man said, Mr. Yeka Kolba said, we should collectively hold their feet to the fire. We're not even to your feet yet, Mr. Kamara. We're just coming close. Go ahead, Mr. Eastman.
But yeah, let me address your concern, Mr. Gaiman. And Yeka Kolba alluded to the same thing. Whenever these suspicions arise, and it's a lot of times it's largely due to lack of transparency. Now, had they published not just simply the amount, but a breakdown of the amount, it would have perhaps satisfied some people's curiosity, because I do understand that security and logistics are probably at forefront. You maybe have foreign dignitaries coming, presidents or vice presidents, chiefs of organizations. So you are going to be taxing your security force extra. We're talking about man hours. We're talking about the logistics to carry them around. We're talking about extended duties. So one would understand that these things have to be covered. And there's other things, in security where costs they will have to encounter for other coverages. But I think had they provided a breakdown, it would help show that, okay, this new government administration is going to be very transparent. And I think this has always been, we always allow people to start speculating. So let's cut this. Let's find a way to stop the speculation. Let's be clear about what we're doing, and then let them challenge it from that point. Then you don't leave no room for people, for naysayers and people to inject their suspicions into honest effort. I think transparency should be the calling card of this administration if they're going to be successful.
Mr. Kamara, on this show, and throughout the 6 years, the Unity Party, everybody, the opposition, their mantra was transparency and accountability. In the job that I do, when I submit my budget annually, I have to do something called line item.
Oh man, nobody cares about your budget.
Yeah, there you go. You see what I'm talking about? Every dime, Mr. Eastman, that I spend, I have to put them in line. 10,000 for security, 5,000 for transportation, 10,000 for vacation, 10,000. I have all of those things lined up, and they have to add up. And it's public knowledge. We are talking about a government that came to power on the back of transparency and the rule of law. Mr. Kamara, where is the transparency that you talked about that you guys were bringing? And don't tell me because he has not gotten inaugurated so he can do whatever without transparency.
Let me answer your question. Don't answer for me. First of all, Mr. Ismail is on point. There are things that should be done in order to allay these speculations. I understand that. That has been a mistake of governments in the past, governments in the present, and even this transitional team. There have been those kinds of mistakes still persist. The reality is that those guys did not just throw a buck number out. There were estimates made. There were different studies done. These are guys that went to the very same school you went to here, Mr. Kim.
Mr. Kamara,
I'm responding.
No, Mr. Kamara, please give us the breakdown so we can
I'm responding. What you're forgetting to know is that I am
Mr. Kamara, please show me where I can go to see where Jimmy Eastman can go.
Let me
and see the breakdown of the estimate that it made. These guys,
let me finish.
Where can we go to get that?
Let me finish. These guys are not the ignoramus you think they are. They're very well schooled. The issue here is the team that is charged, that has the authority to have this press conference to give the breakdown to the Liberian population, have not had the meeting to do so. The agreement is this week they're supposed to give you the breakdown, but because you're impatient, you're finding everything in the book to throw at them, so you wouldn't wait. The bulk number that was thrown out, it was not thrown out by the Unity Party. Yes, the number seems accurate, but the Unity Party have not actually come out yet to give the official statement about that. Everything is on paper. They didn't just come out and say, okay, you know what? 600,000 it is. No, they actually wrote things down, calculated things.
Mr. Kamara, who is the chair of that transition team?
It is the elected vice president.
No,
we're talking about the inaugural. We're talking about the inaugural team.
No, Mr. Kamara, you got it wrong. The two chairs of the committee, the George Weah, the outgoing president.
But no. You see the head of it. Look, Mr. Gilman. All authority. Listen to me. Joseph Boakai have given the authority to the vice president elect to chair the transition thing. No, hold on.
That does not abrogate his responsibility.
But that is not the point.
Mr. Eastman, Mr. Kamara is having problem here.
No, because I'm not giving you what you want.
You skip over me if you go by to Mr. Eastman.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. Morris, if you are the chair of a committee and you appoint someone to deputize for you, does that abrogate a responsibility?
But that's different. You just use a word now. But that's different. It has nothing to do with the actual reality
Mr.
about this
Eastman,
budget we're talking about. It's 600,000. Let's stick on that.
The incoming president and the outgoing president met with their team together. They stood on the Capitol Hill. They took this beautiful photograph. They're doing everything. When Joseph Walker was leaving the country, he deputized his vice president to chair. It does not abrogate. That tells me wherever Joseph Walker is, the vice president is advisor, keeping him abreast of issues. Now he wants to wiggle his way out, Mr. Morris.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Joseph Walker did delegate the responsibility to, Vice President-elect Coon when he left. But I think now that he's back in the country, he's probably the ones that everybody is reporting to, giving him the figures, giving him the activities that they're planning.
Always. Even when he's out of the country, they still report to him.
There you go.
So the fact is that it's not solely and wholly based on what Jeremiah Coon wants or what Jeremiah Coon doesn't want. It's up to the president-elect. He makes the final decision. He makes the final calls. Who he wants to be there, who doesn't want to be there, what he wants to happen, and what he doesn't want to happen. So I think, Mr. Gaiman, you're right in that regard that Joseph Walker is the head of the team. Everything starts with him and ends with him. So, nothing to add to it, but just to buttress it. That's all I have to say.
Great. Mr. Eastman, you're going to close on this one because we are here, we are all CEO of our family, of our home. We know who the chair of the household. When the decisions are made, they have to consult you. You have to give a say so. So we know very well that means constant. Joseph Walker should have known that I have accused these people of not being transparent, not accountable. Everything is going to be in the open. We are not seeing that. I think Mr. Yeke Koluma even alluded to that this government is coming in. They are not transparent. They look corrupt. The same people that were being robbed about Mr. Eastman close on this. Their transparency issue and accountability that brought them to power seems to be slipping by.
I think statement from Mr. Kolaba, in other words, holding the administration to the fire, it works in their favor. And I say that because sometimes you're blindsided. We all have a blind side. There are things we don't even know about ourselves. Somebody has to tell us. We all have a blind side. And going into this thing, let's assume innocently, but forgetting that now you are under keen scrutiny and you cannot overlook every detail or overlook anything that will make you appear in any least way as shady or concealing information or any way corrupt.
Mr. Eastman, real quick. Mr. Eastman, real quick. And even more damning is this is Joseph Walker's third inauguration. This is not something that he's not familiar with. This is his third inauguration.
That is true, but now he's at the helm. It's a bit different when you're not at the helm. And like I said, they're going to, if they learn quickly, they're going to make mistakes in the end, like all administrations who newly assume a role they hadn't previously performed. There are some learning steps, and this should help them realize that every single thing they do is under scrutiny, and if they don't take heed and they try in any least way to continue to be surreptitious or conceal anything that the public thinks should be information out there, then it will invoke this sort of criticism. So I think this should help them prepare for what is in store for them.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of On Point, the first of 2024. We love you. We care for you. We are appreciative of you tuning in every Sunday. It's 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast. It is On Point. Number 2 on the list today is, and I don't want to pressurize here, but it is called Meet the Press. And it was Yeka Kolba Meet the Press. My friend, if you have not listened to Yeka Koluba or you didn't see this particular
One
interview,
day you're going to become
it is,
a
it,
favorite of
it,
CDC.
it is, you are missing it. You need to watch it over and over because it is what we call the real meet the press. Mr. Eastman, no, let me start with Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, the first thing when he talked about a lot. Yeka Koluba said he had a flashback so terrible. It's like when you're in a war and you witness carnage, and then you
PTSD.
have a flashback. He said when he saw Joseph Boyka and his wife going to Totota, standing and saying, on behalf of me, Joseph Boyka, and my wife, I donate $10 million Liberian dollars to the family. He said he had a flashback because usually President Weah will have the major projects, and he says this is Weah project or Weah
Okay, let the
project.
man answer you
He
now.
says he just seen what Joseph Boyka did. Where did Joseph Boyka get $10 million from?
Yeah, you heard
when
that
he,
twice
when
already.
he said he was broke, he was living on loan, he has nothing. $10 million Liberian dollars, Mr.
That's the fourth time.
Thank you, Mr. Gilman. Look, I think Yeka Koluba affirms some of the things I've been saying on this platform for the longest. He talks about Joseph Boyka's nephew, Jacob Akoli, and he talks about his son, Jojo Boyka, and also his other son, Tantan or whatever, or whoever. He said these young men are going to businesses, especially the Lebanese people businesses, and pretty much extorting money from them in exchange for protection from his father's government. People are going to Benina Ure, who is one of the people that are so-called supposed to be held for economic crimes, and going to Lone Star and telling them that they need to give them money so that it will protect them, their interests in this incoming government. His son, I know Tantan or Tonton Boyka is in Lebanon, travel to Lebanon. Which families or interests does he have in Lebanon? And we know the Lebanese are that the people running our economy in that country. So when I make the statement that Joseph Boyka is like a mafia boss, you think Joseph Boyka is going there to do that thing all by himself without his father acquiescence? Of course not. You'll not see Joseph Boyka going to these people and telling them, give me $5 million, or give me 1,000, or give me $1 million. He doesn't say no. Those will be your foot soldiers who will do the heavy lifting for him. They've been doing it when he was doing dealings with Costa. He would be, Jacob Akoli would be the conduit to tell Costa that probably need so and so thing, they probably need transformer, they probably need so and so money for this and that. Those are the people that Joseph Boyka sent. So for me, all of the things that's going on, $50,000 in Liberia. If you got $50,000 in your bank account in Liberia, nobody would consider you poor man, especially in Liberia. So if Joseph Boyka had been living on loans, as he said he was, taking money from the likes of Stanton Witherspoon, taking donation from Henry Costa, taking money from Benina Ure, and that's how he was surviving. And they're running a multi-million-dollar campaign, which was exhausted through the second round, and you still have $50,000. Not money to take care of your family, but money. When people donating money, they know what they're depending on. If you got 100,000, you're not donating 50,000. Please, now, you're not donating 50,000 of that money, to the people of Totota. You're not donating half of your money in your bank account to charity. So where did he get 50,000 from? Maybe he should have made it clear from his salary, his incoming salary. Maybe he would donate a portion of it to those people. But $50,000 is almost a fourth of Joseph Boyka's money as a salary as president in his first year. It's a lot of money. So we need to ask those questions. The renovation that's going on his house. Have you made anything clear about it? Who's paying for it? Is it the Liberian government that's paying for it? Is he waging it against his future salaries? Who's paying for these things? Why is his son in Lebanon? What interest does he have in Lebanon? Is it true that his nephew and his son is going to these companies and asking them for money in exchange for protection? We need to clarify these things. Yeka Koluba is not somebody that I hold to be very credible. I think he said things that are true at times, but some of his assertion today was spot on, especially the dealings with Witherspoon and other unscrupulous characters. Jeremiah Kuhn in particular, that he called out. Jeremiah Cohen has been somebody who supported George Weah, supported some of the corrupt practices in the Senate, and all of a sudden, nobody is talking about Jeremiah Cohen because he's being shadowed by Boyka. We know he's very corrupt. So for me, Mr. Gaiman, we know these things. I've said on this platform, I will continue to say it. Joseph Boyka is a mafia don who will send his henchmen out to do his dirty work, and they will come back and report to him. Don't be dismayed. These guys are not working in isolation. It's at the acquiescence of Joseph Boyka. I'll leave it there.
Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
The question here is, Mr. Clean Hands that were coming to government, when they said Ellen Johnson was corrupt, he said, I was part of it. I was not at the helm. It is Ellen Johnson. Now, he has not even gotten there. Where the question is, where did he get 55,000 US, 10 million US dollars? I mean, 10 million dollars. 10 million Liberian dollars.
Yeah, okay, I heard that 3 times already.
Behalf he is why in his name.
Okay, I can tell you.
Go ahead.
All the energy, so, look, let me tell you something. This is absolutely what the white people in the Southeast get called tabata, total tabata. All of a sudden today, Mr. Kolba has become a credible man in the eyes of citizens. Hilarious. It's very funny. But I don't mess with Yege Kolba, and I don't take him seriously.
Mr. Kamara, we're not discussing Yege Kolba. Problem
broken clock is right twice a day. Broken clock is right twice a day.
The $10 million that were donated by Joseph Boyka, he and his wife. Where did that money come from?
When you asked this question, you said the claim Yege Kolba made. This is about the things that Yege Kolba said. But let me just...
No. Why Yege Kolba? We all saw the donate.
We saw the man making a pledge.
We all saw that when he went to Twitter. We all heard it.
Hey, guy. But let me tell you this, Mr. Gilman. Look, the man told you he borrowed money from the bank. And let me ask you something, Mr. Gilman. You live in America here. If you borrow money from the bank, if you are capable of borrowing money from the bank, what does that say about your credit?
Mr. Kamara, where did my man get him?
I'm coming to.
No, tell her what is about credit score is in my bro. What credit score?
Listen now, I'm coming to. What you need to understand is that in order for any bank to borrow you money in Liberia, they have to know that you're capable of paying back. Now, if the understanding of Joseph Boyka's statement that he sometimes have to borrow from the bank, if that understanding to you opposition is that Joseph Boyka's entire life, he got to go to the bank, he collect, then he eat, then he go back, he collect, then he eat. If that's how you see it, then the question is, how has he been paying back?
No.
Don't straw man the argument. Don't straw man. That's not what the question is.
Just tell her where he got $10 million from to donate
on behalf of himself and his wife. I'm coming to.
You are very transparent now.
But let me speak now. Okay? So the fact that Joe Boyka could borrow money from the bank and pay back, that means he has a spending power. But when you ask me, where did Joseph Boyka go get money like $50,000? Only $50,000.
$55,000.
$55,000 US.
Yeah, let's make it $70,000. Where Joseph Boyka?
Not $70,000.
Where Joseph? I would put it up to $100,000. Okay.
Nope. $55,000 US.
Okay, don't discredit this conversation. Stick to the facts.
Let me leave it at $55,000. Where Joseph Boyka got $55,000 from? You asking me? Let me break it down for you. Joseph Boyka started working in government as a top government official in 1972. No, wait now.
You're contradicting the man. The man said he was living on loans. He's poor. He's broke.
We all know the man started working in 1972. He started actually working in government in 1966. We know that. So don't go there.
The records of the men graduated from University of Liberia is right there. It's not even 1966.
No, what year you were born? He know the year you were born.
He was a cadet while he was in college. He said he was a cadet.
Let me finish talking now. The man was not cadet at LPSC when you're in college. But let me tell you this. Joseph Boyka has made connections over the years. Joseph Boakai has made money over the years. Joseph Boakai has property, may not be flashy, but they're valuable, just empty lands, but they're there. Joseph Boakai has his own resources. When Joseph Boakai tell you that I'm broke, in his words, he's not talking about me and you kind of broke, Mr. Gilman. Joseph Boakai has laid a foundation for himself that he can find ways to find 200-300. Do you really believe that that campaign was only ran upon the money that were collected from Spoon? That campaign was that money in that campaign was almost $5 million spent in that campaign.
Mostly from Flo
Okay.
Toomey and the vice president elect.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is, he did not just work over these several years just to be doormat. He has connection. He has the ability. Joseph Boakai personally can afford $50,000.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Eastman.
So he was not broke. So he lied to us when he said he was broke.
Mr. Eastman, when we are talking about transparency, you see what we are talking about. This man is saying now, we should relegate the standard procedure of accountancy, which is transparency, where you got the money from. This man who said he was getting $3,000 a month from Spoon to feed him. Mr. Costa was cooking eggs, scrambled eggs for him to feed him. He was broke. He had nothing. All of a sudden,
that's a small way to look at it.
10 million Liberian dollars on behalf of me and my wife. And what got to the man saying this man is using the same words that George we were using, for which we were killing ourselves here. When he does a project, he said it's a George we project. We said no. Said Joseph Boakai is a complete replica of President Weah, and he had not even started yet. He gone to dead people and doing something that is despicable, Mr. Eastman.
Yeah, so Yeka Koliba is raising alarm right away. And it is in place because not only did he point where he's getting his information, he even laid the foundation, and I will go over it to explain. At that position, president of the nation, all kinds of things come your way. If you don't know that the Lebanese community, the first thing they do, they get together and bring a purse to the head of state. Now, instead of this is for the president of Liberia, it's not for anybody's personal bank. So if they take it and use it in their own personal interests, then you will see them building a whole compound of apartments because this was given to them. This thing happens each and every time an African leader come to the helm. He is going to be tempted by various entities, individuals, companies to grant them favors. Now, they do it in the jest of just goodwill, but they always expect something in return. So what he was pointing out is, look, first of all, you have been receiving money from the Witherspoon Foundation or whatever it is, and it's been questionable all along. Now, you are men of integrity. Do you want to appear that way? You are allowing yourself to be dressed by other people. In other words, what Yeke is advising that Mr. Boakai, you cannot compromise your integrity by these material things.
Yeah, but
because
Mr. Eastman, you can only compromise your integrity if you have integrity.
Yeah. So and this is from the very beginning. It is going to be more intense in the coming months. There's all kinds of things that come across your desk. Today we see the Minister of State, the Minister of Finance, the mayor of the city. All these people are under sanctions because of the temptations that come in front of their office. So what is going to happen? This is going to happen, and what he's seeing already, he said, I'm already seeing you make some false bad moves. It's already beginning to happen, and it's only going to intensify in the coming months. So again, I said he is giving a good warning for those who would heed, because this is going to be, it is going to be intense. And if you're not very careful, let me end with this: the system is rife with corruption, misappropriation, with kickbacks. It's the whole system. You cannot process paper without having to give somebody some money on the side or sort of like that. So that's the kind of system you're going in. And if you're going in and if you break that system to stop that kind of thing going on, then you have to be very upright. Unless you will not be able to break it, you will only be another part of it. So I think it's a fair warning.
Great. Mr. Morris, you're going to close on this one here.
No, he can't close on the one. I would never if you're allowed to speak. So when you finish, I'm coming back.
Oh.
Okay. They made all this show instead to be Joseph Boyka's son. Just a dictator. He the one going to dictate what happened. That Joseph Boyka will dictate what happened in the country when getting power.
I will let you start on the next one. But this is where we are. You said the $10 million, Joseph Boyka had credit. Joseph Boyka been working since 1972. Joseph Boyka knows people. But in the meantime, Joseph Boyka said he was going to dance with the devil. So we know Joseph Boyka will go to any extent to accomplish his goal. He said it. We are quoting him verbatim. He says, I will dance with the devil if I have to. And he has Mr. Morris, your turn.
Yeah, I will just say what Mr. Eastman said. You know, that was a salient point because we know this. I'm a supporter of President Weah, and this happens, you know, it happened with President Weah. I think they said it was like 6 million or somewhere about 3 million, something of that nature that went to see the president. Most of these people have interest. These are the people who are bringing in the rice, who are bringing in gasoline, fuel, and things like that. And they want to continue to keep, you know, to have a cushy relationship with the government, to do that every single time. Mr. Eastman already know this more than I do. The only child stealer time, of course, the Lebanese are hand in hand with Taylor. You know, and probably even further back to the Tubman and the Tubman time. So Joseph Boyka is no exception. If he wanted to make an example, he could have publicly come out and said, nobody should come to me and bring any gift to my office. I will not accept it. Nobody should try to lobby me with money. I will not accept it. I mean, when you want to be transparent, you put it out there. But in the Liberian context, people will say, you stupid, like eating more, you won't close right there, because that's how the corrupt people make their money. They may not be stealing it from the quote unquote Liberian people money, which is in the budget, which is through the, you know, the budget for the nation. But these business people with interest come and bring you money. And in your mind, well, it's not the Liberian people money. These are businessmen who are bringing me their own hard-earned money, and thereby it's legal for me to take because I'm not stealing from the Liberian people. But then in that means you're compromised. Like Mr. Eastman said, you're very much compromised because it's quid pro quo. I'm giving you something now, and later on when my interests come up, I want you to, you know, you already know what to do. Sometimes it's unspoken. If I give you 100,000 or 250,000, if there's something that's going to be in my interest, you're going to look at it and say, no, I'm not going to do this. You're always going to be in the back of your mind, oh, that guy gave me 250,000, you know, a couple of years ago. Just let it go through. That's my man. So this is who Joseph Boyka is. He knows how the government works. He has an intricate understanding of the government, and thereby he knows this is how, you know, the game is going to be played. He's playing it very, very well. Go ahead.
Yeah, because if I say I was just saying, you don't stop today. What evidence has anyone got? That's why I'm enjoying the show. That's why I'm laughing. That someone went to Joe Boyka and gave him money. That Indian people already finished putting together and giving Joe Boyka. What evidence has anyone got?
Mr. Kamara, you sitting over there. We asking for evidence where Joseph Boyka got 10 million.
Joseph Boyka is not a boy. I tell you, he started working several years ago. He can afford
you say you don't have it. I said, point out.
Where Joe Weah got the money to build his duplexes from? Where he got it from? What the evidence you got that he stole from the Liberian people?
Mr. Kamara, so you want to tell me you are not aware of all these things that go on in the country about people bringing the
listen, I was at the Ministry of Finance, and I'm telling you, we are aware. What I am telling you, just because it happened before, doesn't necessarily mean it's happening right now.
Who renovated Joseph Boyka's house? Who renovated his house right now?
Listen,
I understand your point, Mr. Ismail. Yes,
no,
these are the
Mr.
ways. These are
Mr.
the ways.
Kamara,
These are the ways that this merchant can kind of will put you, like bust your head with cash money. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not even saying it's not happening. What I'm asking is, how do we know that it has already happened in the case of Joe Biden?
But listen, when President Weah was building his houses, you didn't have any proof. You said he stole money.
Remember now, you said President Weah.
So
it was easy. It was easy to connect the dots.
Because you were president at the time. So Joseph Boakai president, there's no paper trail.
Mr. Kamara, I will start with you on the next topic. The next one here says, a few months ago, I think Amara Conan put up, I guess it was a caveat. He says, not every dump truck that built a mansion will pass in front of the mansion. And he left it. He left it at that. Today, Mr. Honorable Yeke Koluba said, what he sees again, that Joseph Boakai is now surrounded by the same people that spoiled Ellen Johnson's government, the same people who were corrupt. He is bringing these people back. He said the common people, he called a name. He said the Hiena boys, the Pepe boys that put their life at risk, the nurses, these people that put themselves on the front line. This is their government. Instead, Joseph Boakai now has been surrounded by the same old people, and they are going around.
Okay. Here's the deal. I heard you get called, but here's the deal.
Listen,
I heard everything you said.
Let me finish.
He said
they are getting a largesse, they are enjoying, they are going and taking a measurement of expensive custom-made suits and all of that. These are the people Mr. Kamara, go ahead.
Look, you're too entertaining, man. I tell you. Listen, I supported Joe Boakai. I insulted some people, unfortunately. Some people insulted me. What's that? On behalf of this very Joe Boakai. Is there a guarantee, or do I even intend to directly benefit from Joseph Boakai's government? Now, there were over almost 1 million people who voted for Joseph Boakai. How many ministries do we have? How many autonomous agencies do we have? Can all of these people directly benefit from Joseph Boakai? So to say that the dump truck that built a mansion would not necessarily pass on the mansion is a fair statement. Not everybody who supported George Weah had to benefit from George Weah, even though some of them felt disenfranchised. Now, the whole Yeke Koluba thing we keep bringing up here. Yeke Koluba will struggle in this administration. The free ride that Yeke Koluba had during the George Weah administration, he's not going to have it in this administration.
I remember you made that thread before, and I remember that thread that you made.
And the reason is simple. He is dealing with a lifelong politician who have seen decades, several generations of Liberian politics. Taking care of Yeke Koluba will not be the most difficult thing. Nobody will go around making noise with him. You will never have Joe Boakai responding to him and all of that, but he'll be taken care of. Watch what I'm telling you. But what I want you to know, what I do want you to know is that Yeke Koluba does not have the intellect, the intelligence to understand some of the things he enunciated. And the reasons are very simple. You said Jeremiah Kuhn is corrupt. He stole from the Capitol building and this, that, and the other, and that. But then he went and ran campaign for Jeremiah Kuhn. The Yeke Koluba said, oh, Buffer Chimba was in the race today. He was going to go back to vote for Buffer Chimba. But he was costing Buffer Chimba man throughout 6 years. He said, Kofa, what is his name? The deputy speaker. The man I wrote. The man's a criminal, and this and that. But wait, hold on. Hold on now. He's going to support the very man. The same man that corrupt.
You're trying to discredit a man when a man is making valid points. He made some valid points in those statements.
said the
But
name.
let me land. But let me land.
No,
But let me land.
you should
The man
learn
is
long time. You have flying all over the
but
place.
let me land now.
I
The
gave you a
man
landing
telling
script, and
you
you fly all over the
you that the deputy speaker is a crook. He stole the Liberian people money, X, Y, Z, and therefore he will still elect the deputy speaker. This is the kind of guy we should be wasting our time. However, this is what I will close with. Let the House allow us to audit them. Just throwing accusation out there is not the way the system works. It's not the way the law works. People, it has to be proven that people stole money. I enjoy the fact that we are opinionated and that's what we are about. But all we do is opinion. It doesn't do anything to any of those people because first thing they have to allow the House, the General Auditing Commission to go in there, audit them, and then we can persecute people, and people can actually be called criminals. But every day you get called all over the place. Every day that noise will tire with it. Now you support people who corrupt. You rent compete for them, but they corrupt.
Mr.
What's
Eastman,
that?
this man grew up in Grand Bassa County, so the Bassa way of debating rubbed off on him. You see, he didn't say anything about what the man discussed. The man is saying, we work here for 6 years. We were here running all over the place. People died. These people were not around. What the man need?
You have to be qualified, competent, and eligible to serve in government.
Listen. So he said people like Kofi Woods, Miata Formula, all of these people that are coming on now that are surrounding Joseph Boakai were nowhere around. They didn't.
Well, let me ask you, if you're president, what job would you do?
Mr. Eastman.
The man's an elected official. He got to get in a job.
He is addressing a particular subject, and this Bassa Madingo man is all over the place. So I'm
mending Madingo man who happened to be a part of Bassa, not Bassa Madingo man.
You see, when you were running your campaign, your father was chief in Bassa, you were Bassa man. Now he not win. Now he mending man. You see this?
No, I'm still a part of Bassa, though. But I just want to make a record clear.
You see the rear Madingo and the Mende. When you say Mende, Pele, all that coming. When he was running campaign, he was Bassa. His father was chief in Bassa.
Of course, that has never changed. That hasn't.
Mr. Eastman. The dump truck thing. This man put up a caveat to let the people know. Don't come here expecting job. Yeka Koluba said everybody he sees in Monrovia, they all from the United States. Some that were pushing cartoons.
And you believe Yeka Koluba?
Listen, there's some that were pushing cartoons, some are working in nursing home. He knows them, but they are now over there carrying papers around, telling people that they are more qualified. So he is not seeing anybody on the local level.
I like to exercise a little more patience. Even I honestly believe that Yeka is warning the rescue team of not to repeat the same mistakes of past regimes. I believe this is a clarion warning because for me, I'm waiting to see what the moves they will make. I want to see what kind of cabinet they're going to put in place. I want to see, and he's already warning. Some people have intuition that they can already tell when something's about to happen. Okay, and so because they're doing the same, they're taking the same posture other people took, and so they know. They say, "Oh, you're coming to do that same thing again." Because you already started. You're donating $10,000 US dollars or 50 or how many million Liberian dollars.
10 million.
You say where you getting money from. This is your own money. So you now start receiving money now, and you're already making it to be your own. That is what Yeka is saying. Say this money is coming from somewhere, and we don't have anybody. Our system is as such. We don't have anybody checking campaign financing and all of this. And this thing is going to happen. Let's put all joke aside. I understand Mr. Kamara. He says bring proof that it's happened. No one has proof at this moment, or at least on this platform, that it has happened. Well, we are well aware of these things that go on. So that is why Yeke is saying, look, I already see something is happening now. And if we're not careful, we'll be back to where we were yesterday. So Mr. Kamara Kane, as for him, he's come and taken center stage in this rescue team. I find it interesting. But again, is he the one supposed to be telling who should be waiting for job? Was he part of the group when they were scrambling when the Unity Party was in disarray? Was he in the trenches with them? And all of a sudden now he's calling the shots? Well, I guess the Darius Dillon, the Yumbly, the Costa, and all those others who came before him, they would tell him the story. So we just that all.
Mr. Morris, the gentleman was talking about when he looks at the faces of those surrounding Joseph Walker, they are desperate. They are people who you can tell they came from the States with an objective and they do anything together. He said they are desperate to the point where he knows there's something going on, there are a lot going on. He just doesn't see, he cannot see his way out because he's having flashbacks. He said desperate. He used the word. He said desperate.
Yeah, that's the sixth time you use the word desperate. It's okay.
Mr. Elvis.
Mr. Gaiman, I have a similar sentiment to Yega Koluba. We hear people advocating from these United States on different platforms that they want to go back and help their country. We know that in past governments, some of the most corrupt people have been people from the diaspora. They'll go in there, take exorbitant salaries because they feel like their expertise and experience and education demands it. So in Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government, people getting $20,000 a month to be a public servant in a poor country like Liberia. So these guys are making maybe 6,000 or 7,000 here, which is pretty good money. They know they have a fixed income, but in Liberia you can make twice as much and probably get kickbacks from other deals that that you allow somebody to get, and you can make triple times your salary in America compared to in Liberia compared to what you are making in America. So these guys are people who I think for most of them, they're going there, belly driven, looking to make a quick buck, pay off their mortgages here. When things fall apart, run and come back to the United States and continue their lives as usual. That's why I think President Weah putting some of those stipulations in the dual citizenship bill was right. Because those guys in Liberia who don't have anywhere to leave the country if they get sacked or the government removed from power, they're stuck in Liberia. They can't come out to America and go work at FedEx or go work at UPS and make $20 an hour and be able to support themselves and support their family. They're stuck there. So people from America should not get preferential treatment from the people in Liberia. I always say that because we're not better than them. We just have more opportunities over here, but we're not better than those people in Liberia. People moving up. What kind of expectation? What kind of experience you get? You want to LU? You're not even the same it used to be back then. What kind of education you get? You want to cut it down? It's not the same it used to be back then. So your education means nothing. We that went to school in America, we smarter, with more experience, we're working in the Western world. Communist came and made that case, and the Liberian Port rejected it. So I think on a local level or on a governmental level, we need to reject it. Not saying that these people are not qualified, but your stake, what's at stake for the Liberian people who live in Liberia and have no other interest outside of Liberia is more valuable to the country than those who will run away and come back when things get hard. Or the Ellen Crocombe who stole money from the Liberian government, ran away and came back to America and nobody could touch her. So for me, what Yeke is saying, I saw a lot of truth in it. One of the things that he said that I think you need to point out is that the likes of Jeremiah Coon, he said that people say, oh, he went and ran campaign for Coon. The amount of pressure that Yeke Koluba was under, being from Lofa County himself, the amount of pressure he was under to support Joseph Boyka, we saw the hesitation that he had, right? The hesitation that he had supporting Joseph Boyka, he made it clear, I'm not going to run campaign for Joseph Boyka in the second round because these people are being very unserious. He had some outbursts. Yaka Kolubai is not a supporter of Jeremiah. If you can call Yaka all the names you want to call, uneducated, uncouth, you're right. Well, he's not a person who's afraid to call out wrongs and corrupt individuals when he see them. He called out Jeremiah even before these elections. Call him out. So he's not somebody that's saying it now because he voted for Joseph Boyka. Yaka Kolubai is one of the smartest politicians in Liberia. And here's what he's doing. Whatever government is in power, in Liberia, 99% of the time, the people are going to flip against that government. When hardship starts to come in the country, everybody's going to be against that government. So you always want to be on the side of the people. You become a populist. You want to be on the side of the people, the majority, and that's what Yaka Kolubai is doing. If CDC comes into power again, Yaka Kolubai is going to flip. He's going to go back into the opposition. And that's what the Liberian people like. They like people who is seen to be holding the government feet to the fire, whichever government is in power. And he's going to keep getting reelected and reelected. If he ties himself to United Party, if United Party does bad, and if being swept out of office, he will be swept with that wave. So for me, I think Yaka Kolubai is playing a smart game. But some of the things that he said was well on point. And I like the fact that he didn't cuss anybody. He didn't use any coarse language. And I think if he continues on that mantra, some of us will start to take him seriously. I'll leave it there.
Mr. Eastman.
Oh, you jumping with me?
They having our Kamara time.
Mr. Kamara?
You tell me already?
No, you remember I started with Mr. Kamara on the dump truck.
You started with Mr. Eastman. Go ahead.
No, I started with you, and you said, Joe, we have had 1 million supporters, and they all can't work in government. You said it, but go ahead.
Oh, we're talking about the same topic?
The dump truck.
Yeah, I don't want to waste my time on that thing, man. You get called by say you're called by a citizen now. You're all power to you. You can go to Mr. Eastman.
Mr. Eastman, let me start this one with you,
Yeah.
Mr. Bwaka. Let me go to Aliu Bwaka. Oh, excuse me, not Aliu Bwaka. Aliu, come on, let me go to Aliu. According to the Daily Observer, there are 15 positions that are going to be announced either the day before or the day of the election, and seven out of the 8 positions, 7 out of the 15. Actually, 8 out of the 15 people nominated are from Lofa County. 8 out of the 15 are from Lofa County. So Yaka Kolubai made a reference to that where he said, this government that we fought to bring, it is not a Lofa County government. It is a Liberian people government. At least in the Georgia government, you said people from the Southeast. Southeast got 5 counties. Lofa is 1 county and it had 8 of the appointees. Mr. Kamara, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, the Southeast may have 5 counties, first of all.
But you want to talk about the population.
But not everybody. There you go. Not everybody who has the name Molba comes from Lofa.
Okay, you can say Yaka is from Bon. Fine, say Yaka from Bon County.
I don't have to say it. The newspaper listed where they all came from.
I'm coming now.
The Daily Observer is a credible newspaper that knows these people and said John Molu that is poised. If he behave himself to be honest.
No, he's trying to correct me that I was wrong by saying Yaka is from Lofa, but he's from Bon County. Make that correction. I stand to be corrected.
I did not say Yaka was from Bon County. Yaka is not from Bon County. Yaka is from Lofa. What I am saying to you is, just because someone's name is Moba, I'm talking about Mr. Gilman, that thing you read. Not that I gave it any credence.
So the Daily Observer is lying.
Not that I give it any credence, because we have not seen any listing. Let me tell you this, since you keep confusing me a little bit, and this is deliberate. Yeke Kolba can say this, he can say that. Daily Observer can say that, they can say that. There's one person that I look at, and I'm looking up to, would be Joseph Numa Boakai. When Joseph Numa Boakai is ready to announce names, he's not going to give it to Daily Observer. He's going to come out and announce those names himself. Not his minister of state, not the foreign minister. It's going to come from Joe Boakai. So I admonish you to hold your horses. Wait for that. However, again, let me reiterate. The boy can go on all over the internet and make his own name for himself. How you go and you get covered, you can do all of that. We expose, then you keep talking. This is free will to talk. One thing I know about Pat Buakai, he doesn't have to respond to you. He's going to do what he wants. And that's what you're going to see in this entire 6 year. Remember, the people, for example, I was born in Margibi County. So if Joseph Buakai was to appoint me today, you would say Joseph Buakai appointed somebody from Lofa, right? Not necessarily.
No, you guys are doing it. When you saw Southeastern name, you assumed they were from the geographical Southeast. There are people from Morovia who were Gribble, who were Crew and Crying, whatever. But people assume that they were from the Southeast because their name sounds Southeastern.
What we are saying is,
no.
If you have 15 counties and you select one person from each county, either way, the people from my ethnic side of the country will still be predominant because that's where most of the population is. It does not necessarily mean it's a plan set.
What background I have predominantly?
You mean the Mende group? They're predominant compared to that of the Kwa or the Crew.
No, we're talking about county, man. We're not talking about.
But I just said that.
You want to be a tribalist?
How many counties you have in the Southeast?
They're not that much.
Okay, so if listen to this now. If you were to take one person from each county, he said 15. There are 15 counties. If you took one person from each county, it will still appear as if everybody comes from Lofa, because Lofa was just recently broken into Cape Mount, Bombay, and Babulu. The whole place was still Lofa. So if you look at it that way, you will understand it to be some kind of discrimination, but that's not what it is.
Mr. Eastman. Okay, hold on. 1 minute. Some people calling now. Okay, we'll take the next 3 minutes to discuss, and then we'll open the line for folks to call. They're calling. Mr. Eastman, we're talking about tribalism, sectionalism, and these people frown on it. In fact, the Joseph Boakai team and himself and Mr. Prince Johnson, they were saying the speaker from the Southeast, the pro tem from the Southeast, finance minister from the Southeast, they just went that way and said they are not. They won't tell you that one is from Maryland County, one is from Grand Crew, one is from Grand Gita. They won't say that. They just said the Southeast. Now we are talking about one county based on what we are reading. 8 of the 15 appointees are now coming from one county, Lofa. One county.
Mame, you mentioned Prince Johnson accusing the CDC of the Southeast. The man openly campaigned on tribalism. Openly campaigned on tribalism. What I don't understand is we do not see the flaw in that kind of thinking. You accuse one person of doing it, and you do the very same thing. You know what the flaw is when you use tribalism to determine your decision? The flaw is you have the best person in front of you, but because he or she is of a different tribe or ethnic descent or religion, you don't pick them. That is why everybody strives toward a merit-based system where people prove themselves by their actions, and they are promoted or provided a position based on their actions and not based on the content of their character and not their ethnicity. But we continue to make this same mistake. We use it politically for our political advantage, but in the end, it comes back and bite us because it's a vicious circle. It is going to continually go around. So I was very dismayed when I heard these things, because I know this is not wholesome. This is not how nations build themselves up, because that is subjective thinking, and it does not promote a national agenda. It is something that will eventually cause a division, cause a rift, and keep the country backwards. So this thing they use everybody from one county and all of that. If we're still at this primitive level where we're using tribalism to determine a person's position or where a person should be, we're not going anywhere. This is a mistake. You know, and you notice that Yeka doesn't deal in that. He looks more at people about what they do. And so if this is going to be our discussion in 2024, then we might as well go back to 1822. That's all I gotta say.
Let me close on a quick before we go to the cause.
Yeah, Mr. Morris. There was an argument the last time, I think it was either Freedom FM or OK FM, and there were two guys, and the guy from Nimba said, we campaigned against Georgia because we wanted jobs. Nimba County wants the jobs. And he said the only person from Nimba County that was name was there was Krua, some guy named Krua. Cooper Krua. They sending him to justice. Okay, he's the only person, and he said there were two arguments in this going election, and George Weah was on one, and Joseph Walker was on one. The Nemayan took job over development. Said we wanted job, and Prince Johnson said it. We look in the government. George Weah doesn't have any Nima people in top government officials or in position. All the position went to the southeast. So this guy is making a claim. He says we decided we wanted jobs, so we supported our kinsman Prince Johnson to come and win, and so to have the job. Nima County should have all the job or most of the job. So now we are seeing there's only one person so far from Nima in our tab list. So here we are, some group that took job over development. Lofa County took development over job. They lost. Nimba County took jobs over development. They won. So he is saying we need a lion's share of the job because it was us that gave the job. Mr. Morris.
Mr. Gavin, let me be honest with you. I don't mind it. Quite frankly, I don't mind it. You know, it's the old cliche. Politics is about interests. You know, these guys had their interests, and their interests were they wanted jobs. If Baka won the presidency, they wanted jobs. They wanted to be represented within the government. And Prince Johnson has made a proclamation that he wants 700 positions in Joseph Boyka's government. He's very likely going to get a lot of positions, but they're going to be maybe at a lower level, maybe deputy, director, deputy minister, assistant minister, and so forth. The people of Nimba was very important, instrumental in Joseph Boyka winning these elections. Definitely, you can't downplay them. And I think Prince Johnson wants it to be reflected through their positions and how well this they're reflected through this government. So for me, I don't mind it. Liberia, we're still almost a primitive people. I hate to say it, and it sounds demeaning, but like Mr. Eastman was saying, we still do things by tribe. We saw one part of the country, the region in the southeast, that overwhelmingly voted for George Weah. We saw another region that mostly voted for Boyka. So the reality is, you saw Nimba, for example. Nimba went by what the Kingsmen told him to who to vote for. They've always gone by that. One man will tell you, say, okay, you know what? I don't want that savior. You vote for the person, they vote for them. They're not voting based on merit, Mr. Eastman. They vote based on instructions. So for me, I think Joseph Boyka should bring the people who he has the most trust in. I'm not somebody that say, oh, we're not that kind of country where people just trust people from, quote unquote, the other side of the country. Joseph Boyka will surround himself by the people that he trusts the most. And I think that list is reflective of that. He's going to have some of these guys from Lofa, from Bon, from maybe Bummy, places that he feels the most comfortable. Joseph Boyka didn't go to the Southeast. You think he loved the people from the Southeast, or he trusts Southeasterners, and he never went there once during the campaign to sympathize with them? Oh, you saw your own son, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're suffering. I sympathize with you, you're my people. I have some friends from the Southeast, you guys are good people. Even if you're just trying to butter their bread, he never did it once. So I'm not expecting Joseph Boyka government to be a quote unquote government of his inclusion that he was saying on the campaign trail. on the Capri Trail. The reality is he'll be surrounded by people he trusts because we're still in that mentality. Those people there and my people here. Just reacting with the same mentality, or God will come with the same mentality. More than likely, whoever we get the next time, maybe with the exception of Kumis, will have the same mentality. So that's who we are as a people. And I see nothing wrong with it because that's where our society has developed into when we haven't gone past that stage. And that's what we'll be in that bubble. Bring your own people around me, Charles Taylor, you saw Charles Taylor, all the talk you were talking when he brought the war. Brought people from Bon Country surrounding him. A lot of these guys was from Bon because Bon was his base, and at the Bon Country people surrounding him, people from Nimba. You barely saw a lot of Southeasterners around Charles Taylor. When we are king, same thing. Ellen was there, the Speaker of the House from Bonnie. You had somebody else, I think Ellen Snow, who are also the Speaker of the House, had roots in Bombing as well. The people from Bombing were around Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, even though we don't want to admit it, but it was the same thing. So I have no problems with it. If they do better than George Weah, kudos to them. The people from the west or the central part of Liberia will get the credit. So I don't have a big problem with it, Mr. Gaming. That's just my honest opinion about it. I think you need it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if the line is now open for comments, you can call 772-940-2871. We have our first caller. Joseph is on the line. Taiwo, introduce yourself and the topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Taiwo. I'm from Houston, Texas. Yeah, I've been following the show. From what I pick up from the first part about Boyka taking money or who's renovating his house. And then, I heard two sides of the story, but then we have to be honest with ourselves, though. It doesn't matter who we support. I don't know what's going on concerning that, but if Boyka, as a regular guy since he left office, nobody brought him any money and nobody renovated his house. So all of a sudden, he's president. It's not what he's already pretty much the president. So if people are bringing him money or renovating his house, then that is setting a very, very bad trend. And I think it should really, really be looked into so that the same mistake is not repeated. But as I said before on the show when I was on the panel several times, I don't expect anything different from this government. It's going to be corrupt. Because from what I understand about how the government works, they're actually designed to be corrupt because just the way the campaign process, who fund these campaigns and just all the different things. And the next one is about the next topic. It kind of slipped my mind.
Why is he not on the show tonight?
Is it Yeke Koluba?
No, it was not a Yeke Koluba. It was one more.
The positions that people are giving out.
Weird.
Okay, yeah. So on this show, gentlemen, I've been mentioning this. We are from the U.S. A lot of Liberia problem starts from the U.S., from Liberians here in the U.S. Almost everything that happened in Liberia, as we know it from 1822, the settlers came from here. The agitators, how you call them, the progressive, they came from here. We hold a place that we are very influential in terms of no matter on what level, because we are in a privileged position, as we can see, we help and we do a lot of stuff. But the last 18 years, the government that we're talking about, the corruption we're talking about, the root of it is here within the Liberian community. These are the people that are representing the last two governments. And like you guys are saying now, from your knowledge, it's the same group of people that are already there in Liberia about to represent this next 6 years. What are we going? We need to be honest and fair. We need to hold ourselves responsible. What can we do here in the U.S. to bring attention to this stuff? Because here we are claiming to be like morals. We're not in a superiority.
Well, yeah, I'm to the next caller.
At home. We are not. But here we are. They go over there. They carry papers around that they're qualified to do this and do that. And then they steal, they loot, they flee, they come back over here. So this thing right here, what should we do? What can we do? What kind of attention can we bring to the situation here in the U.S. to be able to actually start holding people responsible or kind of put
right. All right. Thank you, bro.
People that are leaving from here that are going back so that they can be careful, so that when they get there, they try to serve instead of just trying to pocket money and to do this.
Somebody want a number to call. Please post the number.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the help. Thank you, and we'll see you next Sunday. Okay, could you please post the number 772?
It is being scrolled. It's on the bottom. It's scrolled.
But just click on it, and it will stand like we do the comment. You can post it like we did a comment. But ladies and gentlemen, the new year is coming in, and it is coming in hot. And you see how relaxed I am as a supporter of President Weah. I don't have to now defend, and at least we did a lot of great things. When we talk about road, we talk about development, we talk about school, we talk about YFE, we talk about free education, we talk all of these things we talk about. We talk about the invisible power. We talk about the unification. Major things that we did. We can talk about them. These people have not even come into power, and the corruption has begun. The corruption has begun, and they are coming with the same excuse. Joseph Boyka said, Mr. Koluba said, Mr. Boyka, we know he had no money. And
let me just come in there for a second.
Listen, all
of us
we
already heard everything.
all over the United States taking measurement for his
we heard you say that a few times already. This is what I would say to you. All right, we know that JMB has not done anything wrong. He has not done anything unethical. He's not done anything illegal. JMB have decided that
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, we got a caller on the line. Call your name and where you calling from.
When I hear you gotta put the volume up. Put on speaker.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I got my own little town here, made of people from Riverside.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Jerome, Mr. Eastman, thank you for the show. Ali, look, great show. I've been following. And I just wrote a comment. This government will collapse before it even becomes operational. The lies will be found out. And it started with Costa and Yeke and Spoon, and I heard he trying to take over rice importation, all that thing. Joseph Boyka is a big betrayer. He will betray everybody that be around the likes of the UN and others. They will fall within that same dilemma. And this government will fail because, look, they were elected based on threat, violence and threat. When you hear Joseph Boyka, incoming presidency, there will not be any Liberia. If something happened, and from the likes of Prince Johnson, all those threatening remarks, Jerome, a lot of people did not, almost like the chancellor election. People did not vote because the people voted out of fear. We said, you know what, we'll just let these people win. A girl told me, I want for me and my little son to live. Let me tell you. And then number two, and let me tell you guys, when the economist predicts, a recession, is not magic. It's a trend. He knows that when a man tell you next year we have recession, he knows he followed the trend. The same thing that happened the last time is happening. He sees it, And from all indication, we're seeing that this government, Joseph Boyka government, will follow the trend. This old man had no record of any success. The man got fired more than the kids that work. I don't know people sitting over there. Yes, Ellen Johnson said they're making a big mistake. This government will be a disaster. It will be like a Titanic where all the lifeboat. Imagine the Titanic, they had lifeboat and people died, thousands of people. Joseph, this country is heading to a disaster. And look, I feel too bad sitting here in the diaspora. Look, I'm telling you, seriously, it's not because of George Weah, but Liberian people, they will know that this government, hey, you know what I think you get talking? All that stuff, it's just a tip of the iceberg, guys. Thank you for having me. I'll be following the show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good.
Santana is going to hit the iceberg. All right, you.
Thank you very much for your, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the line is open 772-940-2871. It is a beautiful day.
Yeah, I was saying something and I didn't finish. Let me just finish it. I see my brother Riverside Pro from the CDC camp. He joined the ANC people, so I understand. I feel bad for him. It's not easy to really dissect or digest. I mean, a defeat. It's not a small thing. So Rosa, I understand your problem. I feel.
I wanted to post that comment. Let me read that comment and.
But it'll
tell him to call him. Tell Mark when to call him.
It'll be okay. River says, just hang in there. We understand. At some point, you get over it. You're gonna get over the defeat. But listen, look, Joseph Boakai is not doing anything wrong as far as we know. Joseph Boakai is surrounded by good lawyers who also are his advisors. So what he's doing now, Joseph Boakai said the little penny he got left, gonna get himself situated the way he finds it fit. When that day comes after January 22nd, Joseph Boakai only focus is going to be to serve. The whole thing about NIMBA and NIMBA jobs, 700 jobs, let me assure you, Joseph Boakai will only appoint the people he believes will deliver. Doesn't matter which country you come from or what support you give him during this election. If anybody thinking that they gave Joseph Boakai money during the campaign, or they supported Joe Boakai during the campaign, and as a result of that, Joseph Boakai reciprocated by giving them jobs. I'm asking you on the show today, and I'm here every Sunday. Watch and see. You say Aliyu said a lot of people will get mad and they will do things, they will say things because they'll be left on the wayside.
Well, Mr. Eastman, you heard from Aliyu Kamara. Joseph Boakai is going to only appoint people that he believes can deliver and he can trust. And so far, the 15 top cabinet members, 8 of them are from local.
That's just alleged, man. That is not real.
Mr. Kamara has said it. So only Lofa County can be trusted. Only people from Lofa County, almost only people from Lofa County can deliver. 8 out of 15. That's about 55%.
Well, there are 6 tribes in Lofa, so maybe you took us.
We are not doing tribe here. We're not doing tribe. Don't come here with the tribe thing. So here we are. Even if you were doing 6 tribes in Lofa, you got 8 cabinet members from Lofa County. They don't trust. In fact, they don't trust in Monroe. You're not even so allowed in Monroe. Not even in front of the mansion. They don't trust. They can't even come from Monroe. According to him, only those who can deliver. And those people who can deliver come from Lofa County. This is what this man is saying. He is saying, Yeka Kolubai, who is member of the House, made it clear. He read the code of conduct. And you are a government official. You cannot take anything over $200 without.
But who is the government official now? Who is the government official that you know that took money?
Listen, man, Joseph Boakai is a government official.
Oh, yeah?
Joseph Boakai is an elected vice president.
Joseph Boakai is not the president of Liberia until January 22nd.
Joseph Boakai has been accorded all the protection, full protection, and services
of former vice
president. Joseph Boakai is basically on the payroll now, being served by the Liberian government. He cannot take anything.
He's not on payroll.
The man read it. Anything over $200.
Joseph Boakai is not an official of the government.
Anything over $200 is a crime. And secondly, he is saying that Spoon purpose of spending all his money on Joseph Boakai is to get the
allegations.
The exclusive right to importation.
Mr. Give me 1 second. I find it so rich that Mr. Kamara know what they call allegation now rather than proven fact. No, you never knew. You were claiming that George Weah was corrupt. The board bid for the 7 horses. The board this, the board that, but not an allegation.
George Weah public perception is correct because
so now it's correct. We have proof.
The man said, "Listen, for this man to sit here, when you get let me go to Mr. Eastman. When you go to get a federal job, in my case, they got levels of clearance. You do level 1, level 2, and then
When
you
they see this year start trusting, you get called back. Wait.
to get a job, and you become president-elect before you get into office. You are raping, you are doing things, and you say, "Well, I ain't there yet."
Yeah, I'm not there yet. So you get punishment for it. Where I get
But
there.
raping is a crime. What crime has he committed?
You are president-elect. You know it, Mr. Eastman. You are now accorded state security. You are accorded cars. You can see where he's going. The SSS is traveling everywhere he goes, wherever he does. Everything is on the state. And this man is telling us that he should not get those things until he gets the power. I mean, it's so flawed. Like the table needs to say everybody likes their own crooks. This man is now liking his own crooks, Mr. Eastman.
Well, you know, there is a lot that is going on, and a lot of it is a lot about hearsay, but we know about tendencies. If all of you very knowledgeable on this platform, data analytics is all about looking at the data, looking at trends, looking at historical events, and predicting the future. And when we make certain predictions, even though like Mr. Kamara asked, where's the evidence? We're not looking at what has happened, but we're looking at the data and the trends that are leading to these conclusions. People talking about Yeke and everything, but I think Mr. Kamara said, why do seditionists believe Yeke today? Well, the answer to that, pepper can't hide in dog eye. The same thing he did before is what he's doing again. That's the answer to that. So, but I think we should exercise some patience, because for goodness sake, this is our country. If it goes down, we go down. If it fails, we fail. And we want to see its success, no matter who is there. We want to see a successful Liberia.
But
And
Mr. Eastman, let me push back here. These people have been in opposition for 6 years. It's like going on the soccer field. You've been practicing. Soon the time for the game to start, or you say, "Let me go warm up. Give me 20 minutes to warm up. Give me 20 minutes." No.
But the game has not started yet.
Yeah, but listen to this. You know when the game was going to start. We know. Listen, the game starts at 4 p.m. Everybody prepare. The other team is there. You get there.
And it's only 7 p.m.
He said before you go there, let me go warm up. That is not our problem. These people said we're going to hit the ground running. 6 years they've been practicing.
Yeah, we're going to hit the ground running when we get the office. We ain't got it yet.
Listen, the man said in my first 90 days, there will be no car stuck in the Liberia forever.
No, that's not what he said.
That's what he said,
Mr.
Eastman.
Here's what I'm looking at more particularly. I understand right now that the transition team, they're not getting the kind of cooperation they need. In other words, the kind of information, the various things that they have to they are not getting and that is going to lead to a bumpy start. So what we as Liberians supposed to be doing, we if anybody is being the cause of our not performing, we should call them out. I want to see the government give everything to the UP government they want, so there'll be no reason for them not to hit the ground running.
Mr. Eastman, on Thursday you saw both chairs of the committee, Mr. Kemiya came with the transitional team. And both teams says whoever, in fact, the Joseph Boyka team pointed directly to John Molu. Says John Molu went on Spoon TV and started to accuse people. And they came and said, the gentleman said, everything that we required, we have been meeting. We got everything we need. There is nothing. If there's any blockage, we will have known it. We will have said it. So that is for a group of folks who have overpromised, and now want to come out and say, like again, American, what did he say? Manage your expectations.
That makes sense.
These are the folks who have overpromised, and they are saying, what was the word the young lady used that I like? We campaign.
Mr. Gilman.
Yes.
Mr. Gilman, listen, you need to understand that know what you are up to. You stay in your campaign mode. Mr. Gilman, we are at the stage now where we together we have to begin to set this country on track. All right? Certain foundation that was working, we need to go back and start from that foundation and then invent new foundation. That's what we need to start focusing on instead of this whole thing about just criticizing. When Americans say manage your expectation, it made a lot of sense. Now, when you are taking over from a government that has already put everything in place, you don't expect the population to manage their expectation. But if you are taking over from a government that broke everything down, pretty much broke everything down, you're going back to start from starting from scratch again. That's why he's telling you, after assessing the situation as a technocrat, he's telling you ahead of time, manage your expectation. That is not to say
Mr. Kamara,
that's a gross exaggeration of the facts. How can you say everything is broken down in the country? That's not true. That's the excuse you guys want to use to underperform.
It is an excuse of people who are not going to perform. This is a man that had the nickname Mr. Shawfall when he went. Mr. Kamara, we got 8 minutes. Everybody got 2 minutes here. 2, 4, 6 minutes. Go ahead. You're closing.
All right. Listen, it has been a great time being on here. Wonderful show. I am so proud of Honorable Joseph Newman Booker. He serves as an inspiration. He has taught me that never give up on your goal in life. Whatever you want, you must fight for it. You must stand up. Forget about naysayers like Jerome Gilman. Just keep pushing, and God's willing, you will be there. I am very convicted of the reality that Joe Booker will set a foundation that future generation like Mr. Morris would see what a real government means and how a real government functions. Mr. Booker, I believe with every fiber of my existence that he will give Liberians hope again. Zogo and all of these people, they will have hope. He will give Liberia rule of law. He will give Liberia peace. And more importantly, what we enjoy that Mr. Morris did not enjoy, the family union, the love of our cultural value and heritage. Those things where your auntie was your mother and your cousin were your sister. There were no differences. We were all united. That when I went to Grand Bassa County, my grandfather could become a paramount chief, a clown chief, a town chief among Bassa people, where people were judged based on their character, the content of their character, and not what language they spoke. Tribalism has always been in Liberia.
My grandfather went to Lo-Fi. You'll kick him out. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you understand? So what happened is we want to go back to that again. And that's what we're working on. That love where you can come outside 12 o'clock midnight, go through the bathroom, go behind the hall, and pee, and not worry about somebody catching you and killing you. We had those days. Everest, you never had those days. That's what we're fighting to bring back to you.
I never had those days.
It's not. Oh man, you never had those days.
Thank you.
You know. So you know. Let's forget about this whole campaign thing. It's George Weah, but it's Joe Booker. Let's leave that thing behind and let's move forward. Let's now on.
Mr. Morris, this man is saying you can commit all the crime you want to commit before January 22. You can do anything: loot, kill, rape. Go ahead, do your closing, my son.
It's a loophole, Mr. Gaiman, Mr. Kamara trying to find. Well, anything he do is he's not a public servant yet, so he's not doing anything that would spoil his reputation as a public servant. Look, I've said it and I will continue to say, I'm not somebody that's going to be like one of these opposition figures during George Weah time who will be shouting the veins in their neck are standing up and advocating against the government in charge. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my energy. I know who Joseph Boyka is. I know how he's going to perform. I know some of the good things that he's going to do, and I know where some of the lapses will be. I will give you a caveat now. There will be a semblance of rule of law under Joseph Boyka. The likes of Massaquoi, the likes of Kerman, the likes of Coleman, they're going to come back and have some position within the Ministry of Justice or in the police, department, and they're going to give some semblance of stability to the country. But where Joseph Boyka is going to be the same old is in corruption, massive corruption, perhaps more sophisticated than George Weah, but less so than Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But there will be corruption on a massive scale. So nothing is going to change. Liberian people are going to suffer. At the end of the day, they're going to suffer, and they will cry again that we thought Joseph Boyka was going to be different. And they're going to say, well, the men's sport, the country is so bad. For us to fix it, we need 12 years to even get back on the right track, like Mr. Kamara is doing. Everything has been broken down. How so? We didn't go to war. Yes, things are not great, but the country is a functioning nation. The country is what I mean when I say we didn't go to war, we didn't break down all of our infrastructure. We didn't break down the very fabric of our society. We're rebuilding. As far as I'm concerned, things are happening. People can get passports. People can get documents. People can do certain things in that country. The country is not at a total standstill. So don't give us that excuse that everything is broken down. You got to rebuild it. You got to rebuild nothing. You build from the foundation that is left there by your former government and this government and build on it. Don't give us no excuses. Like somebody said on the last show.
The foundation we left that this government broke it.
No, don't give that excuse. That's a poor excuse. We're not going to buy it. We're not going to buy it.
Great. Mr. Eastman, you're close.
Yeah. You know what they used to sometimes, when a young girl, she get pregnant, and people say, you're pregnant, she'll say, no, I'm not pregnant. The people used to then say, well, you know what? One thing about better, it'll grow in front. So we would, if you're pregnant or you're pregnant, we will see. Okay. So, to be honest, Joseph Boyka is a success story. Joseph Boyka came up at a time he had challenges. His people were not rich, and he came to the town and he got scholarship. And in fact, he excelled. He even competed in the student council president against some of the more prominent people in the society. And he was successful. He's done a lot of things very successful. He's been in government for years in a prominent position. He is a success story. But now he's about to undertake the biggest test in his career. He is about to undertake the mantle of leadership of a government and a system that is rife with misdoings and misappropriations. And he's supposed to be the one to turn that around. So it is going to be very interesting. But the only thing I disagree with Mr. Morris is this time, Mr. Morris, the U.S. government is issuing sanctions for they have changed the ball game. The rules have changed. As far as they're concerned, anybody now can be sanctioned whenever they are ready. Ellen, there wasn't not a case with Ellen government. We didn't see this with Weah government until the end toward the end of his. But from the very jump, the people will start issuing sanctions against anybody that is corrupt. So the game has been changed a little bit, and I honestly believe that is a fair warning that they are giving the incoming administration. Let he that have ear hear, because it is very true that you will be tempted beyond compare. And if you're not the man of integrity that you claim to be, then you too will fall victim.
Great.
So we'll see.
Go ahead, Mr. Eastman. Land.
So that's it.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 6 o'clock on the dot. This is the end of our show. We want to thank you. Next week, we are going to acknowledge all of our callers, all of our viewers. We want to thank you very much for tuning in, for being loyal to this show, for being loyal to us, and we sure have not disappointed you. As always, Mr. We look for our song here so we can start playing. But my closing remark is Joseph Boyka is as corrupt as they can be, and I agree with Yeka Kaluba. He's going to be more corrupt than the we are government, and we are seeing it right from the jump. This man is taking bribe from the get-go, and the same Unity Party people who were saying Joe Weah was corrupt, they are here saying he can take bribe all he wants until January 22nd. This is the logic. This is what Tip O'Neill said. These people, everybody likes their own crooks. Unity Party now have their own crook, not one crook, but all crooks. Joe Weah was accused because he had young folks who they say were not qualified. Now, Yeka Koluba say we are bringing back the old cartel. As it is, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here next week. We will start off with this Queen Johnson thing, a woman that was arrested, and then we heard that the police guy that was in charge of her is a Unity Party scene, and he wants her to hide until the new administration coming. These are the people that were talking about the
that bread girl.
Yes, the girl that's silly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our show. We end our show as always. We are all Liberian, no matter where you are. Take it from here, Mr. Eastman.
Shout out, United, bro.